Hi, my name is Rachel Glessner. I'm currently in my last quarter at the University of Washington, and this is my capstone project on bridging the gap between using complex environmental documents for general environmental communication. A little bit of background, environmental impact statements are required by the National Environmental Policy Act before any project is started to assess the impacts that said project will have on the environment. They contain a great deal of pertinent information that isn't shared properly or made accessible to local communities. A lot of what an environmental impact statement contains is assessing how, like, the long-term and short-term effects, what the impacts of um, the building will have, construction and things like that on local communities and the surrounding environment, noting like what trees need to be cut down, what landscape changes will be made, and things such as that. My thesis statement is that environmental impact statements need to be made more accessible and understandable in order to become more effective communication tools. Throughout my internship with Seattle Subway, I was advocating for a more expansive light rail system in the greater Seattle area. Um, as you can see in figure 3, this is our vision map of the transit systems in Seattle. Let me bring it up. If you guys can see that. There we are. This is an example. This is a vision map of what an expansion of the link light rail system would look like. So all of these colorful lines you see here are what we propose should happen and how we could connect the greater Seattle area so people have more access to transit, and we're decreasing the amount of car traffic in Seattle, which decreases the amount of accidents and the amount of people hit on the street. Let me go back to my presentation here. There we are. The other aspect of my internship was writing an environmental impact statement for the Aurora Corridor, which is about this 12 to 15-mile stretch of Highway 99, that stretches from Fremont about to the shoreline area. Um, as I was writing this environmental impact statement and being involved in these grassroots efforts at events and such, as you can see in figure 1, I was at Capitol Hill Pride, tabling for a few hours, advocating for better transit systems and connecting with the local community to see what they wanted from their transit. I was noticing a disconnect between the information I was reading and the information I was providing people. Um, as I found through I didn't have like quantifiable data. It was a lot of experiential data. I kept a journal throughout the internship, and I would write notes after every meeting and noting like the important comments I was hearing from the conversations I was having with people. This resulted in me finding that more digestible language needs to be used to grab like the attention of people and provide them with information, because a lot of people don't have the wealth of environmental knowledge that I have, because I've been going to UW for 4 years with the intent of getting a degree in the program on the environment. There also needs to be an easily dispensable synthesis of environmental impact statement summaries, spaces to speak about these results, and accessible versions are ways to like turn environmental impact statements into communication tools. With all of this knowledge being provided for people, we should have accessible versions for it. For example, I was reading environmental impact statements for the Northgate station that was just recently built, with Northgate, Roosevelt, and the U District station all included. And this was about a 300-page document that had so much information. As you can see in figure 2, that is an example of what the charts inside look like. But there's so many more environmental factors outside of water quality and air quality, but that's just some of the few I included in my own environmental impact statement for the Aurora Corridor. But there are different sets of plans to basically respond to the environmental impact that's happening. There's the no action plan, where if they don't follow any suggestion, nothing happens and things kind of stay the same. Or like once this thing is built, so this is the impact it will have if there's no mediation or mitigation for it. If then there's other plans provided in our environmental impact statement for the Aurora Corridor. We had 2 alternative action plans. One was to increase bus funding and the amount of buses that were serving the Aurora Corridor, and the second plan was to implement and link light rail station. And internal action plan 1, as you can see on the in that little chart there, and in figure 2, there would be a slight decrease in road runoff and about a 15% decrease in traffic pollution. And then under Action Plan 2, with the implementation of the link light rail system, we would see about a 50% decrease in both of those areas. So the air quality and water quality of the surrounding environment would get better. So outside of these results, why is this significant? Why do we want to use environmental impact statements for more than what they were intended? I think this would set a really great precedent for sharing environmental information and connecting the branch between federal and public knowledge, because there's a lot of federal complicated documents. There's zoning laws, environmental impact statements, and assessments that are relevant to these communities, but aren't people don't really know how to find them or where to go to find them. And just a broader significance that's really key to the program on the environment is environmental knowledge should be more accessible. We should have access to all of this information. We should have access to things that are relevant to our communities, because if you get people involved in their own communities and they start to see the broader impact that has on the world, and they want to, and it creates this interconnectedness between human caused events and the environment. Overall, I had a very, very good time with Seattle Subway, and I'm incredibly thankful to Eugene Kramer and Seattle Subway for the opportunity to work with them this summer. I would like to thank Leah Rubinsky for all her support in editing my papers, my documents and presentations and such, and providing me with resources to do my research. And I would like to thank my parents so much for all of their support throughout my 4 years of college and beginning of my life and getting me involved in the environment. Thank you.